Well, we've accomplished a whole lot so far. We got all the machines shut down out there. Yeah, he says here. So that's a little bit of accomplishment. Let me say, first of all, that I'm Harold McIver, spelled M-C-I-V-E-R, and I'm entitled to make a 30-minute speech to you this afternoon. Before I get into that speech, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my personal background. First of all, I was born down in South Georgia, and I was raised in Atlanta. My daddy worked in the steel mill for 38 and a half years. He went to work there in the early 30s. I went to work in that same steel mill in 1948. He helped organize that mill in 1941, and as a result, the wages and the conditions was a lot better in 1948 than what they were when he went to work there in 1941. I can remember him when I was a little child, walking 5 miles to work one way, maybe eating a can of pork and beans, walking 5 miles back home. Yes, I was raised on black-eyed peas, collard greens, cornbread, and buttermilk, and I still like it. So I know what it is to work for a living, and I know what it is to be raised poor. As I said, I myself worked in that same steel mill for 15 years. In 1963, they talked me in to taking a job with the union. I was a local union president, elected by the people. And a lot of times, I wish I was back in that steel mill, because they got pretty good wages, working conditions, pension plans, insurance, holidays, etc. So I'll get into that a little bit later on. But I've been up here for the last 2.5 weeks, and I think probably I've averaged sleeping about 2 hours a night since I've been here. I started making speeches last night around 1 o'clock, and if I can recall, I think this one is my field speech. When I leave here, I'm going to Toronto number 2, make a speech to go working over there. So, you might ask why I'm here. You know, the company sends out letters. They say that things like nobody can make them do anything that's not reasonable and practical, and they don't want to do it. Well, I'm sure that they didn't want to let me in here this afternoon, brothers and sisters. I'm sure that they didn't want to allow us to post bulletins on their bulletin board for over a year. But while I'm touching on that, they're going to tell you that the only thing that we're after is use money. Don't make any mistake about it. But when we were posting those notices on the bulletin board, it had the address of my office. And I received numerous letters from you people telling me that you needed help. Come on up, help us. We tried it in 65. We tried it in 59. The company didn't tell us the truth. After it was over with, in 65, they stretched us out. And the same thing happened in 1959. All of you got that king and queen leaflet. And I know there's a lot of you here that's young, there's a lot of you here that's got a little age on you like myself. You'd like to have a decent retirement plan. You'd like to have better wages, better working conditions. You'd like to have a force over your job. That's what it's all about. You know, I live in North Carolina now. Live in Charlotte, North Carolina. My office is there. Been up here for about 6 years. North Carolina is a beautiful state. We've got the mountains in the north. We've got the beaches in the south. The only thing we don't have in North Carolina is decent wages and working conditions. As a matter of fact, we rank 49th, next to the bottom in wages. Mississippi is the only state right now that pays less wages than any state in the union. So we say, God bless Mississippi. Why is that? The reason's simple. Because we have organized in North Carolina like you have in a lot of other states. And when you see unions, you see more money, better wages, better working conditions, more paid holidays, pension plans, etc. But let me just get on again to why I'm here. As I said before, not because the company won't let me in here. It's because they've been caught by the federal government so many times to violate your rights over the last 11 years. Matter of fact, I think it's 12 times that the U.S. Court of Appeals has found your company guilty of violating your rights. And they tried your company in the Second Circuit Court in New York year before last. The company appealed it to the Supreme Court. They tried it for contempt. What does contempt mean? That same court ordered the company, your company, to stop violating the law twice. You remember they posted notices on the bulletin boards that they wouldn't threaten to close the plant down, they wouldn't interrogate employees, they wouldn't fire people. Well, the third time when we went back to them, the court issued an order. And they said to J.P. Stevens and their supervisor, if you don't stop violating the law, then there will be bodily attachment. Now, what does bodily attachment mean? That simply means you go get somebody and you put them behind bars. And for that reason, if your company is more afraid of you than you are them for the first time in 11 years. I don't want to see anybody go to jail, but I know what happens to me or what happens to you if you violate the law. We can't get away with it. It's kind of like a person that goes before a judge. You might go before the judge the first time and say, all right, I'm going to let you off light this time. You might go back to the second time and say, well, you just made one error, this is the second, so we're going to let you off again. But when you go back the third time, he says, well, I've had enough of you, brother, and we're going to put you behind bars. And for that reason, you've got the best opportunity you'll ever have. Companies running scared. They don't know what to do. Bosses don't know what to do. The high-priced lawyers in Charlotte, North Carolina don't know what to do. Well, they think you're going to beat it. You know, I live about 2 miles from this lawyer that they hired, named Whiteford Blakely, Charlotte, North Carolina. And I've heard he gets anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 a day for this service. We tried him for contempt of court over here in Raleigh last May again. They flew him up here again. Well, some kind of airplane. I asked him about flying back to Charlotte with him, and he wouldn't let me. But he lives in about a $750,000 home, or etc. And he's made pretty good money, but he advised your company on how to put the Spirit of God into the people. And he's been pretty successful. But I think he's scratching his head long about now. He don't know what to do. Because his bosses go around, and if they start threatening you, then they're liable to wind up behind bars. So they're not doing that. So it took 11 years to get here to where you're at now. You know, they say the wheel of justice turns slowly, but by golly, we finally reached that point where you actually got that right. Stand up and exercise your right to have a boy move your weight in your working condition. You know, there's one lady here, Lady Frame, Doris Bowers, received $32,000 in back pay. Company offered this job back. Go back to work for J.P. Stevens. She got the $32,000. I guess she decided she didn't want to work for J.P. Stevens anymore. Now let me just get into a couple other things. You received a leaflet by J.P. Stevens plant in Statesburg, Georgia. The company tried to answer it. Let me just tell you a little something about that situation down there. The overwhelming majority of those people signed union cards, somewhere around 80%. The company came out and they fired some people. They threatened to close the plant down, even moved some raw material out of the pickle room, the coil room, to another town. Somebody go up to them and ask them about hiring a friend of theirs, so they're short-handed. So, no, we're not going to do anything until we find out what happens about this union question. But at any rate, when they had the election down there, it's just like a person putting a gun to somebody's head saying, you vote for the union, and we're going to pull the trigger. But the law says you're entitled to a free and fair and uncoerced election. It's a violation of the law for the company to threaten to take away any of your benefits, to threaten to close the plant down, or to harm you in any way because you voted for the union. Okay, they voted against the union. It's kind of, when we had the election, it's kind of like Cactus Clay with Muhammad Ali when they was in the ring with Joe Frazier in that first fight, and one of them having a sledgehammer as an advantage, and the other one didn't have anything. That's the type of situation it was. But I had 2 meetings with those people after they voted, and they told me, says, Harold, if there's any way legally possible to get this union in here without us having to go through all of that again, then let's do it. As a matter of fact, they voted overwhelmingly at those meetings. So I filed the necessary legal documents with the federal government, and I represented the union at the hearing, and as a result, the federal court, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States, said the company should be made to bargain and recognize the union even if they never had the first card signed. Because it was not a fair election, they cheated and they violated the law. Now, since then, we've been bargaining with the company down there. You know, the law says that both parties are supposed to bargain in good faith. Now, what does good faith mean? You got faith in the Lord, you got faith in your wife, you're supposed to deal above table. It simply means that you are not supposed to go in there and demand like $2 an hour. If the company can't afford to pay it, say that's it. You wouldn't be bargaining. It would be in a give and take. The company can't sit back and say, well, we're not going to give you anything. We're not going to talk to you. And here about 3 weeks ago, as a matter of fact, they tried the company for contempt of court for bad faith bargaining in Statesburg, Georgia. Even though they made some concessions, they agreed to fill jobs by seniority. Let the oldest person take the best jobs and the best shift that he wanted. They agreed to let time study engineers come into the plant. Union time study engineers. I'm not talking about J.P. Stevens time study engineers. You know about them. Folks time when they give you a raise, they come around and they start around with a slide rule, and you wind up doing more work, and your production has changed, and sometimes you wind up with less money than what you had before you got the raise. So you need to put a stop to this. You ought to have a voice. You ought to have these experts when they come around doubling your workload, when they come around stretching you out. You ought to have somebody that will come in there and make sure that the thing is done right. So they agreed to that. They agreed to several other things. But the labor board said that this is not enough. And as a result, they tried for contempt of court, as I said earlier. The point I'm trying to make to you, brothers and sisters, the company called strike, trying to scare you to death. But the fact is, we've had the union in down there for several years, and there hasn't been any strikes, there hasn't been any violence, nobody's paid any union dues, and they're happy. Because they go out there, if they got a complaint, and the company's got to sit down and meet with them and bargain with them over their complaint. So they're going to be up here before this election's over with. You talk to them yourself. We lost the election down there, but over 95% of them, since that time, have signed blue cards, just like the majority you have. And we're not going to have to pay any union dues until we get a contract proving to them that their wages and their working conditions are better. They're not buying a pig in the poke. Yeah, I know I saw Mr. Tommy Gardner and Mr. Hartsville out here when they come in. Mr. Hartsville shook hands with me, Mr. Tommy Gardner shook hands with me. Both of them nice fellows, I guess. Anyway, remember I sent him a letter, sent you a copy of it. I offered to debate them right here or anywhere else. And I was hoping they'd come back here and be with me here tonight. So you can hear from me, you can hear from them, and then we can ask questions. But they're not here. But remember this, brothers and sisters. When you vote on Wednesday, you're not voting for your boss man or against your boss man. You're voting in order that you can sit down and bargain for a contract over your labor. And what is your labor? When you're out here working for J.P. Stevens, you're selling your labor to him for a price. And that's the most precious thing that you have. Your kids depend on it. It depends on how you eat. It depends on your kids' education. A working man or woman should try to get as much as they possibly can for their labor. The company's going to buy that labor as cheap as they possibly can. Simple facts are, the cheaper they can get you to work for them, the more money they have to put in the pockets of these big shots up in New York City. If you ever get an opportunity to go to New York City, I wish you'd go by the Stevens building. It's one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen in my life. They bragged about it, some people a few years back, about how they built this nice office up there. But you ever wondered where that money comes from? It comes off to the sweat of you people. In any corporation, the people that's out there producing the goods are the most important to the profits of that company. Because if you're not producing the goods, then these people out here sitting in the office shuffling papers around, or the people up in New York, they ain't going to be making no money, but they ain't got nothing to sell. So they've been taking care of themselves pretty good for a long time. But I think it's about time that you started taking few other things. And I don't know whether they got the leaflet out this afternoon or not. One about profit shares. We get too old to work, too young to die. They didn't get it to you this afternoon, then you'll get it tonight when you get home. Company didn't know I had this kind of information until last night. Believe you me, they're about to blow their mind. You received a letter. I believe the letter was dated April the 22nd, 1974. In that letter, they tried to explain to you how the company's profits went up over 400%, but yet they were taking money out of your profit share. I don't understand it. Maybe you do. Kind of like a fellow I used to use crap. Them come 11, maybe we'll have some money when we retire, maybe we won't. But I talked to people that's lost as much as $400 out of their profit share, over $400, from what they had the year before. And that don't make sense to me when the profits went up over 400%. But let me just see how this graph is. A few days after you received your letter, that was dated April 22nd, they sent a letter out to all salaried employees of J.P. Stevens Company. The letter is dated April 15th, and I want to just read you a little bit, first paragraph, and as I said, if you didn't get one this evening, you'll get it tonight. To salaried personnel. It is a pleasure to write to you concerning two important matters related to the Stevens Salary Benefit Program that will be of interest to you and your family. And it's signed by Mr. James D. Fenley. And if you'll read that, he's the chairman of the board, and the biggest job they got now. Bob Stevens, he moved over just a little bit. He's still on the payroll. He's still getting his fair share too, but Mr. Family is the chairman of the board now. Don't make it $130,000 a year, so he's gonna live when he gets too old to work, too young to die. But Mr. Bob Stevens gets along pretty good too. But anyway, at the same time, they were taking money out of your so-called profit sharing plan. They increased the benefits and the pension plan of the salaried employees. Now let me just give you a few figures. The J.P. Stevens Foreman Pension Plan. Now you call him poor lady, or assistant overseer, or whatever have you. And I really don't know what they make, but I imagine it's pretty close. Let's say your foreman has 25 years of credit service and made $12,000 per year during the last 5 years. His retirement plan pays him $325 a month for the rest of his life, plus Social Security if he's entitled to. Your group manager. Let's say your group manager makes $30,000 a year. I believe that's pretty close. The fellow's in charge of all these things. I'm not exactly sure who's in charge. I think it might be Mr. Hartzell out there, Mr. B1. But I'm guessing it's $30,000 a year, and I don't think that I'm wrong. Your group manager has 25 years of accredited service and made $30,000 per year during the last 5 years. His retirement plan pays him $887.50 per month for the rest of his life. If he's entitled to Social Security, then he gets that also. The only thing I'm trying to point out to you, brothers and sisters, at the same time they were taking money out of your profit sharing, they were increasing these people's pension plan, and they got a real pension plan out here in the office, shuffling papers around. I say to you, that's not fair. You're the one putting out the sweat and the hard work out there in that mill, and by golly, you're just as good as they are out there in the office. Did you get that leave this afternoon, or they get rained out? Too old to work, too young to die. Okay? Read that letter and read it. You'll find out that everything I told you is true. Not only that, you know, they got a real hospitalization plan. They don't pay near as much. I'm talking about the salary people. They don't pay near as much into their hospitalization plan as you do. I think most of you pay a little over $4 a week. Theirs not near that high. But their life insurance and the amount of money they receive when they're out sick is much greater than yours. Maybe you think that's right. I don't know. Maybe you think because they work out there in the air-conditioned office and shuffle these papers around that they're better than you are. I don't think so. They get 3 weeks paid vacation. You get maybe 1 week off, depending on how long you've been there, and now all of a sudden, you know, since we started the union campaign, they say that they're going to let you take another week. Yes, ma'am. I don't know how many of you read The King and Queen for a Day. But most anything you want right now is a good time to ask for it. I don't know how many of you were here in 1965 when you lost your election, or in 1959 when you lost your election. You remember that time they had meetings with you, they sent letters to you at home. They're real concerned about you and your family. They even went to trouble to find out what your children's name is, what their birthdays were. Come around, most anything you want, all right. You know, we'll have a new day. Just don't bring in this outsider here. Well, who is that outsider? There ain't no outsider. You're the outsider they're talking about. They can care less about me. I'm paid by the United Steelworkers of America, the AFL-CIO. And I'm also coordinated and directing the Industrial Union Department, the AFL-CIO, and I represent over 60 industrial unions in this country. You've got a lot more going for you than just the Textile Workers Union of America. The entire AFL-CIO is behind you. We've got people in here from several different unions trying to help you, help yourself. You know what the good book says, brothers and sisters? Good Lord, help those who help themselves. Now let me just throw a little something at you. They brought me out of that steel mill and they assigned me to J.P. Stevens in 1963. I said, well, you know, I don't know anything about textile. I'm familiar with the Steelworkers Union. I know the type of wages and benefits that we have in the steelworkers as a result of my father and a lot of other people helping to organize the union. But my wife's mother, right now, works in a cloth room in a textile mill in Griffin, Georgia. My wife's father worked in textile mills as a loom fixer up until he died about 10 or 12 years ago. So I said to myself, if I could be a party to helping the people in the textile industry receive the type of wages and benefits that we were enjoying in the steel industry, then I didn't mind. You know, back in the 1930s, when the steel industry, the automobile industry, the motor baby industry was organized, they were paying wages and benefits that were comparable to the textile industry. But the difference is, there for 5 years with a regular vacation in between years, in between 5 years. The company pays the full cost of the insurance. If they're out sick, they get up to $149 a week for 2 years. If they should be having illness in the last 2 years, they have 1 year, they get to $149 a week. They have to go out on another illness and start all over. $149 a week while out sick. You get $36. Not They also have, in the insurance program, dental care, whereby it covers most of their dental work. If a person should get laid off, they get $100 a week plus whatever they get from the state unemployment. And they have seniority rights to be called back. This is job security, brothers and sisters. And I hope to see the day when the textile workers in the southeastern area are able to achieve these kind of benefits. Not only that, there's a lot of other things that go into a union contract. You know, human dignity means an awful lot. Wouldn't it be nice to have it spelled out in writing? Wait just a minute here, Albert. What time did we get started here? 10 past. 10 past? Yes. What time you got now? 22. 30 minutes. I watched it, but it's 30. What time do you have, bro? Well, Albert said the time is up, so I guess I better pack up my bags and leave. But Albert, they got all kind of rumors going around about the plant being closed down because they voted the union in. And I want to ask you, if you'll give me a yes or no answer, I'll appreciate it. Will you harm these people in any way or close this plant down because they voted for the union? Yes or no?
I'm sorry, Counselor.
Thank you. I enjoyed it going out to the rally Sunday. I'm here tonight to talk to you about the union. But before I get into it too deeply, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in South Georgia, actually in 1931. When I was a little baby, my daddy moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and went to work in the steel mill. In 1941, he helped organize the union in that mill. I myself went to work in that mill in 1948. And as a result of my father organizing that mill in 1941, the wages and the conditions was a lot better in 1948 than when I went to work here in 1941. You know, I was raised poor. I remember him in the early 30s, middle 30s. away right quick. If it hadn't been for the union, he wouldn't be getting that pension plan. He had a heart attack a couple years after he retired, unfortunately. But he's over it now. The Lord's help. He's doing fine. So, even though I was raised in Georgia and worked in a steel mill for 15 years, when they brought me out and asked me to take a job as a union representative in 1963, and asked me to go to work in KPC. Well, I said, I don't know nothing about the textile industry except what I learned from my wife, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law. My wife works in the cloth room down in Griffin, Georgia right now. My father-in-law was a loom fixer for many years before he died. So they were raised, my wife and her three brothers were raised off of textile money. So when they asked me to get out and try to help the people, help themselves organize a union in the textile industry, I didn't mind it. But I wanted the people in the textile industry to receive some of the wages and the benefits that we were enjoying in the steel industry. Now the company's going to get up here to tell you that you bring 19 organizers in here, and you ain't going to make no steel mill, no automobile factory, anything else out of this textile mill. And they're going to tell you that you're among the highest in the textile industry. That's not true. Government statistics show that union blue-collar workers in this country, working people, earn 30% more than non-union employees, including textile. So don't let them hand you this garbage that you're among the highest in the textile industry. You're not. Don't let them scare you to death, like it did, back in 1965, 1959. But you ever wondered why G.P. Stevens, Mr. Harkinson out there in the office, man, he's a big shot, lives down in Greenville, South Carolina, why I'm allowed to come in here and talk to you tonight? You know, in their letters they say that there's no way anybody can do anything that's not reasonable and practical. They don't want to do it. Well, I'm sure that you'll agree with me. They don't want me to come in here tonight, but I'm here. But why am I here? Because your company has violated the law so many times that the federal courts are fed up with it. Second Circuit Court in New York found your company guilty twice for violating the law and told them to stop. Second Circuit Court is next to the Supreme Court of the United States. They still didn't stop. But the third time, they went to the Second Circuit Court and they tried them for contempt. That's when you received a letter on the bulletin board from the National Labor Relations Board. Some of you got them in your home, and signed by the company saying that they wouldn't threaten to close the plant down, they wouldn't fire you, they wouldn't threaten to take away anything you had because you joined, supported, or voted for the union. Well, in that decision, the reason they done that, the federal court said, if you don't abide by this decision, then there will be bodily attack. What does bodily attack mean? That means you go get somebody, you put them in jail. That's what bodily attack means. So that's for that reason, you don't see them firing people. You don't hear the bosses going around saying the plant closed down. Things of this nature. The lady right here is Roanoke Rabbit. Last spring, J.P. Stevens gave her a check for $32,000 to Doris Fowler. And over the years, there's been a lot of other people that received back pay. You know, when Miss Bauer was fired, I'm sure that everybody was saying, poor Miss Bauer, she got out here to support the union, now she's out of a job. When she got that $32,000, everybody quit feeling sorry for her. And she could have come back to work if she'd wanted to. But when she got that money, I guess she figured she didn't have to work to keep Big Stevens anymore. And from what I can learn about the condition, I don't much blame her. Maybe we'll get a union in here, things will be better, maybe she'll see fit to come back. But all told, your company paid out $1,300,000 to 289 people. Now, in addition to that, there's been numerous campaigns conducted over the years. Greenville, South Carolina, I worked down there in Greenville, South Carolina, on the Dunedin plant. In 1965, right after you had your election here, we had an election down there. We also had an election at the Estes plant in Piedmont, South Carolina. You know, you got real sweet. Seems like every time you start talking union, you got an election coming around, they get real nice. You find out who your kids are, the names of them. Boss, the door is open. Anything you want, go in and tell the boss about it. They're going to do most anything you want. That's when the union's around, when you got election pending. They ask you, oh, what do they do? I'll tell you what you done down in the Estes plant in 1965. They had some ladies that's been standing up for years and years in the cloth room inspecting cloth. And I don't know if we got anybody here for the cloth room tonight or whether you have a cloth room in your plant or not. All they do is run the cloth across a frame that's got glass and a light underneath, and they look to see that. But anyway, they've been standing up doing this kind of work for years and years. Time study engineers came around. You know, right before the election, a couple weeks before the election, said, we've been making all these studies. And we figured you do that job just as well sitting down as you can standing up. So they brought stools around for everybody to sit down. Well, the people said, well, you know, the company's got a change in heart. You're going to treat us right. So they voted against the union. About 2 days after the election, they come around and gather up all the stools. I don't know what happened around here in 1965. I wasn't here. Or 1959, but I've talked to a lot of workers, been a lot of his homes, talked to a lot on the gate, talked to the representatives almost daily about what's going on up here. But I do know people tell me, Harold, if we lose this election, we're in trouble. So we're going to catch the devil. The country's going to go back to being natural. But maybe some of you have been around long enough, 1965, 1959, know what I'm talking about. I know in some cases where the people on production, they bring a man around and give him a wage increase. Were you surprised a little bit when we told you in advance that you're going to get a wage increase, when it was going to be, and how much it was going to be after we asked for the election? We told you that, but we know your company. I've been dealing with it for 11 years. We gave you a 10% wage increase, but that wasn't enough to make up for the rise in cost of living. Cost of living went up 12%. So actually, you're worse off than what you were the year before. In union plants, we've got cost of living provision provided. When the cost of living goes up, the wages go up. You need something like that. So again, I don't want to take up a lot of time, a lot of matters, because I only have 30 minutes, and my escort will be back for me. I hope his kids come after over there. Stay out till he finally comes around. Now, the company's going to tell you that it's your money that the union left. I'm paid by the steelworkers, I said earlier. So my wages, my condition's not going to change whether you get a union or whether you don't. But it is money that they're concerned about. Does it make sense to you that the less they pay you in wages and benefits, the more they have for the owners and stockholders? In New York City, got a big, nice building. You ought to go by there and see it sometime. In 1963, I remember they plants. Now they got 80 some of them. Where did that money come from to buy them plants? It come off your sweat and your labor out there in the mill. I don't think you got to leave the state. Maybe you did. Call too old to work, too young to die. Then you get it tonight when you get off. You know, the company sent you a letter back in April, kind of explaining to you how they gambled your money away on the stock market they had put aside in the profit share plan. I talked to people that lost as much as $400 out of that profit share plan. I believe that letter was dated April the 22nd. I don't have one here in front of me. But I would say this. At the same time that they were taking money out of your profit share, they were increasing the salaried employees' pension plan. That's what you're going to get tonight. Here's a letter dated April 15, 1974. It says to salary personnel, it is a pleasure to write to you concerning two important matters related to the Stevens Salary Benefit Program that will be of interest to you and your family. And they raise the pension for people that's on salary. At the same time, they took money out of your profit share. Said they were shooting crap or gambling on the stock market or something. I don't know how they explain it to you. Maybe you understand it. I don't know. I say to you, if you're entitled to a pension plan yourself. You don't need no profit share plan where one day you've got something, the next day you don't have it. Let's just say, and I don't know exactly how much your assistant overseer, the foreman, or four ladies, or what have you make. Let's just say that your foreman had 25 years of accredited service, and he made $12,000 per year during the last 5 years. His retirement plan paid him $325 per month for the rest of his life. Now I ask you, is that fair? You're the one that's doing the work. They're going to give the people out here shuffling papers in the office a pension plan, then you're entitled to a pension plan. You're just as good as they are. You're the most important factor to any corporation. If you're not producing the goods, and these big shots up in New York wouldn't be making the money. And these people wouldn't be out here shuffling papers. I say to you, if I got something like that, and the company nearby blew their mind when they found out that I had this. They didn't know it until last night. But remember, keep it in your mind, and let them try to explain it to you next Monday. You know, I challenged them to a debate. I was going to try to let them explain it to me because I don't understand it. And I say to you, it's not fair to have a pension plan for the girls that work out there in the office and your supervisors and the big shots in New York, and you not have a pension plan. When you get too old to work, too young to die, you need a way of living. And you can't do it off that profit sharing thing that they've got. If it keeps going the way it has, the way it operated last year, by the time you get ready to retire, there won't be a dime in there. You're going to be owing them money, according to that formula that they use. Well, as I said, I want you to read that leaflet. You didn't get one to say to me, you get it tonight. This is my sixth speech. It started at 1 o'clock last night. Now, what do they use to fight? On the one hand, they're trying to love you to death. On the other hand, they're trying to scare you to death. Now, next Monday, the company's going to have a meeting with you, right here probably. And they're going to try to get everybody they possibly can in here. They're going to scatter all the office personnel in here. They're going to have all the supervisors. They're going to have a cheering section, you know. And I don't know who's going to make a speech, probably the superintendent, whoever he is. But he's going to try to frighten you to death. You know, he got all kind of rumors Texas. And they had them out there walking around the parking lot with shotguns. And the night before the election, they had them lined up about 10 yards apart on top of the building with shotguns. And they put out the word, well, we heard that if the union loses, they're going to come in here and they're going to bust everybody's heads up, open, they're going to blow the plant up and things of this nature. And it had some effect on the people. Let's just show you the extreme that they'll go through. Now, why are they doing things like that? Trying to put the fear of God into it. I'm saying, brothers and sisters, this time they're more afraid than you were. The first time. It took 11 years to get there, but they're more afraid than you were. Well, I don't know how much more time I got, but if anybody that's got any questions at this point, I'm going to attempt to answer for you. Anything at all, feel free to speak up.
I have a question. The rumors are that if the union come into the bank that it was Friday. Could you clear it up for?
Yes, ma'am. How many of you got a letter from me? Signed by me. All of you should have if you come and give me your right address. If they didn't give me your right address, they violate the law. So here's a letter dated August 22nd. I sent it to all plant managers, and I sent you a copy. And I just want to read a little bit. I'm not a rich man, but I believe in telling the truth. My daddy raised me, he says, Harold, if it ever gets down to the point where there's a question of credibility, that means who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth, says, Harold, put your money where your mouth is. There's no way they can overcome that. That's what I tried to do here. I offered $1,000 to anyone who could disprove 3 items. I'm going to read it to you. Under the law, an employee at J.P. Stevens who votes for the union cannot be made to pay union dues. You can see what you get in your union contract before you pay one time in union dues. After you've got your contract filling out to you in black and white that your wages, your holidays, your benefits have been improved, then we ask you to pay $1.75 a week. If you don't want to pay the $1.75, you don't have to. And I don't believe you're going to pay that $1.75 unless you see that the union has helped you, or you've helped yourself through the union. Number 2, under the law, employees at J.P. Stevens can vote for the union and never have a strike against their will. They're going to tell you 14 or 15 people get together at a union meeting, they vote strike, and everybody can walk out on the strike. That doesn't make sense, brothers and sisters. 3,400 and some odd people are not going to abide by what 14 or 15 people said. I would. Under the law, it is illegal, strictly illegal for the company to threaten to close the plant down or to reduce wages and benefits or to otherwise punish employees for voting for the union. That means they cannot harm you in any way because you voted for the union. They cannot close your plant down. They cannot transfer your work to another plant because you voted for the union. As a matter of fact, the best way to hold on to your plant and to the benefits that you've got is get the union in here and there's something you can do about it. You voted out, then you're at the mercy of the company. Whatever they want to do, then they got to say so. Get the union in there, you'll have a voice, a legal voice. And certain rights you have under federal law. Now, I've got copies of that law right here. If you would, I'd like for somebody to pass them out here. I'm going to read this a little bit and show you why I can make those statements. Run out of time, but this is a copy of a labor guide to the National Labor Society right here. And this is a copy of a page that I'm going to read the part to you. It said, employee conduct may of course independently violate 881. Examples of such independent violations are, number 1, threatening employees with loss of jobs or benefits if they can join or vote for the union. They're not even going to threaten you to do it. That's the reason they got these apple polishers or whatever you want to call it running all over town. Saying, when we strike, violence, union dues. was pleased right there. I hope everyone would take a look at it, brother. As I said to you, I always felt like that truth will win out over lies, that right will win out over wrongs. And your country's been wrong for a long, long time. And I think that the day going to come next Wednesday where they're going to find out that they can no longer frighten you to death. Maybe they'll accept my challenge to the debate. I hope so. Let me tell you this, brothers and sisters. They might not think it's reasonable, practical, but if they make a speech to you Monday, I'm coming back in here. I want you to see if they'll answer your question. You got a right question, brother? I only have a few minutes.
What is the reason to make it work for all the state?
Well, I already hear and I worked in the mill so long.
How about explaining the right to work for all the state of North Carolina?
Right to work law. Yes, sir. Right quick. Right to work law in the state of North Carolina simply means that if they get a union in here, you don't have to belong to it. You don't have to pay union dues. And I'm sure you're not going to pay union dues unless you see that you've helped yourselves and you've got better wages, better working conditions. If they have a strike, and under the Constitution, the president's not going to authorize a strike unless an overwhelming majority of them voted to strike. But if they did, you got a right to go on and go to work without anybody harming you or anything else. Now, they ain't going to look back. They're going to talk about Henderson, North Carolina in 1959, what happened over there. You know, the plant was closed down, people went to jail, things of this nature. This same union. Well, you got more behind you this time. How many times have they violated the law? They're going to find all the dirt that they possibly can in order to try to put the fear of God into it. Good man.
Sir, if the workers did decide to strike against the company, I mean, isn't it true that the union would stand behind them for support of their families
Yes, ma'am.
and whatnot?
Yes, ma'am. Not only the textile workers union, but the entire FLCIO with almost 14 million members. But there's not going to be no strike here. We've had a union down in Statesboro for several years. They ain't had no strikes down there. There hasn't been any violence, and nobody's paid any union dues. But what you can do, brothers and sisters, you can open the door for all J.P. Stevens workers. This is the way they done it in the automobile industry. This is the way they done it in the steel industry. They organized a giant corporation. We got card signs all over North and South Carolina. There's people begging me to send organizers in to help. And I come up here because many of you wrote letters to me saying that you needed help. And we have helped you. You know, they come up and said they're going to give you double time for Sunday, didn't they? I don't know whether they're doing it or not. They give you the wage increase. But remember this, they can take it away from you the same way they give it to you. Because you don't have a contract binding them to hold those things into effect. Yeah, they give it to you in 1965 and 1969, 1959. But what happened after the election? They first Georgia, they raised them over $1 an hour, the fixers down there. Through production, put the fixers on production. Some of them had some complaints, and not only that, they raised the winders, the twisters, striking up one of them. They started making $4 or $5 a day more. The fixers, striking up one of them was $4, they started making $8 a day more. Well, right after they voted against the union, because the company violated the law so bad, the labor board threw the election out. The company didn't think the federal government was going to order the bargain, so they started taking that money back away from them. Now, I remember the women down there. They came around with pistol pads and said, we want to know what brought all this union business about. Some of the women told them, well, we'd like to have beers in the restroom. That time, they didn't even have a break. A place to sit down and eat. They told them they wanted that. They told them they wanted more money. They told them they wanted different supervision. People treated them like human beings. They did all these things. Put mirrors in the restroom. They also complained about the ham sandwiches in the vending machine. A little bit of slice. At that time, I think it was 30 cents. But the companies run off all the bad guys and they brought all the good guys in. Supervisors, plant managers. And they put those mirrors and they lowered the price from 30 cents down to 25 cents. These are the extent that they'll go to in order to try to fool people. Of course, everything is over with. That's the reason people voted and told me if there's any way to legally possible get the union in there, then they wanted to do it. They're proud of it. Any more questions?
Maybe talk a little about how come North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi at the bottom of the wage scale.
North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, at the bottom of the wages, because the one simple reason, because we have organized in North Carolina. Percentage-wise, there's less union members in North Carolina than any other state union. And that's the reason we receive less pay, because we have unionized. God bless Mississippi, because Mississippi is the only other state in the United States that pays less than North Carolina. Then what do they tell you? You know, the cost of living down here is a lot cheaper. You don't need what they get up in Durham, up in North, or out west. No cost of living cheaper. We run statistics that show that milk, meat, butter, clothes, automobiles, electricity, the things that you've got to have are just as high down here as they are in any other part of the country. So don't let anybody tell us that we ought to work for less wages because we live in North Carolina. I'm a transferred from Georgia to North Carolina. Now I consider myself a North Carolinian. And I've been fighting all my life for equal pay for equal work. And when they tell us that we ought to work for less because we live in North Carolina, what do they say it to? That we're second-class citizens? I don't consider myself to be a second-class citizen. I'm sure you don't. Anybody else got a question? Well, let me just pass this on to you. Escort will be here in a minute. We're going to have a barbecue and a meeting this Sunday at Royal Rapids High School. We'll have United States congressmen there, a lot of other prominent people. We'll start at 3 o'clock. And I wish you ladies that's in the audience, don't sweat over that stove Sunday after you get out of church and move out because they're going to be playing everybody. We're not trying to buy you food. The only thing we want to do is show Royal Rapids, North Carolina, that you're together. And you're not going to listen to a bunch of garbage next week. So come on out to that rally. If there's anybody that's got any questions about what I've said to you, I've got the proof to back up everything that I've said. Anybody else got any questions? How about it, brother? What are you going to do when you get too old to work and you're young as that? You're entitled to read if your boss is entitled to it, isn't it? How are they going to explain to you next Monday how they can take money away from you and at the same time give it to the bosses and the girls out there shuffling paper? How are they going to explain to you and convince you that you get 1 week's vacation off, and right now they said they're going to give you another week sometime this year, maybe. When the people out here, the girls shuffling paper in the office, they get 3 weeks off with pay. Their insurance is a lot better than yours. They don't have to put up $50 when they go to the hospital. It's ridiculous.
In most union plants, do the company pay the insurance or do the workers pay their own insurance?
In most plants, we do have company paid insurance. Well,
All of the insurance is just half off.
it depends. You people are going to make that decision. It's what you ask for in your contract. You're going to be the union. Don't let anybody tell you that it's going to be decided by outsiders. But you're going to try to get the very best you can out of this country. Well, they're going to say they ain't going to give you nothing. But they told you, the only alternative is to go out on strike. They're not going to tell you about the best place for you.